Hello, all you writers out there. Super excited to talk with you today. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. I am all about writing, publishing, promoting, expressing yourself in a book. It is magic. Super excited to talk. It is magic. I've done it more than 50 times. I've been published by major New York publishers, romantic thrillers that became bestsellers. I have been published by our company, which is a hybrid publishing company with global distribution. And I've also self-published. I've also gotten books printed at a printing company. So I've done it all. And I'm here to teach you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. So I'm going live every Thursday at noon Eastern time, taking your questions live. The live chat will be active next week, but today is an introduction, and I will share some of the most commonly asked questions, often that reference some of the 50 books that we've published in the past 8 years since I started this company with my sister, Catherine Greenspan, who is also an author of gorgeous young adult books. Let's see. I'm going to do some show and tell today so you can see some of our beautiful books. So Catherine's three novels are the Veronica series. She wrote them based on her life experience as a mixed race girl growing up with people obsessed about her racial identity. And so she's got Veronica, I Heard Your Mom's Black, and see the gorgeous cover. We're going to talk about why people do judge a book by its cover. And it's got this purple and swirly, and it's just girly, and it's for young adult girls, like 14-ish. And Race Home Veronica and Veronica Talks to Boys. So I'm going to be doing a show and tell here. So you can watch this on YouTube, but it will also be on audio podcast version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen to podcasts. So you get to get this content that's going to guide your writing journey wherever you are. So my mission is to serve as a book coach for you. I am America's book coach. And as such, I have a 6 months to best-selling book success program where you can write your book in 6 months with me, many success stories, many bestsellers as a result. And it's so exciting to see that fire blaze in an author's eyes after they spent years in confusion, overwhelm, procrastination, and not getting the book done. So that's the sweet spot when you work with me. There's this creative synergy that occurs that we go from chaos and confusion to clarity, and that book gets done. Let's see. One of our books is called Joy Notes, Balancing the Trauma with Triumph. And Neo, she is a phenomenal motivational speaker. She had been contemplating this book for years. She has a foreword by Gloria Gaynor, who sings I Will Survive. So Neo came to me. We, in one session, hammered out her outline, and it was so magical. It was like a tear-jerking moment because suddenly she was like, wow, I can do this. And she spent the next months filling in the outline that we created together. I liken the process to the author having this mountain of material. They cannot see the beautiful sculpture inside that is the book. I come to the equation with the clarity based on my experience of writing and publishing 50 books since I started writing as a kid, writing in my journals. Then I became a journalist, and I got a master's in journalism from Columbia University after being an English major at the University of Michigan. So I eat, sleep, and breathe words, and I have this instinct. It's my gift to find the outline, the focus, and it's magical. So anyway, that happened with us, and she spent the next months writing, and she interviewed amazing people, and it all came together beautifully. So that could be your story, especially if you are wallowing in confusion, which is the worst place to be because the book never gets done because you don't know where to start. So I'm going to be answering questions that are the most common issues that I see. And then starting next week, I'll take your questions. So if you have a question about how to write a book, please drop it in the chat here. and in the comments, ask me a question. You can also reach me at twosisterswriting.com. Please visit our website, twosisterswriting.com, so you can learn how you can work with me as a book coaching client, and I can help you write that book fast. Actually, this summer, I have a Write Your Best-Selling Book This Summer program that starts June 19th. So if you're interested in that, please drop me a comment here. You can email me at our website, info@twosisterswriting.com. I would love, 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 love to help you. So let's get started. Along the way, as I answer questions, I'm going to share my experiences that show you how I'm qualified to serve as your guide on your book writing journey. It starts with excitement, enthusiasm. I love teaching. I've taught at universities, Wayne State University in Detroit, Oakland University in Metro Detroit, also Wayne County Community College District in Detroit. I've also given my How to Write a Book workshop at conferences across the country. So I love it. So let's get started. One of the most common questions I get is, I don't have time to write a book. How can I find or make the time to write a book? Well, we're all given 24 hours, and there's one word here. It's called obsession. If you really, really want to write that book, you will become obsessed. And if you're not obsessed yet, let me share another word, consequences. The thought of not writing your book and letting your whole life pass because time is going to keep ticking relentlessly forward, never writing your book and having one of your last thoughts, I wish I had done that. Closing your eyes for the last time after a long, happy, healthy life and regretting that you didn't write the book. That's a consequence of procrastination and not getting the help you need to actually do it. So let that be some fuel in the fire to write your book. For me, the thought of never finishing some of the many books that are in my computer right now that I've been working on for a long time, the thought of never finishing them is just so devastating. It helps me find the time to write. So, for example, over the past holiday weekend, I was up at our cottage. I could have just lounged around and hung out with friends and had fun. But I used my morning genius writing brain to write. I've been working on my next book, The Bis Tribe, Activating Your Goddess Power, and it's coming out July 11th. It's amazing. It's for women's empowerment and it's going to help everybody. But I diligently devoted the time that I know is my best brain energy to writing. And I got some magical writing done up there for 4 days. It was phenomenal. And then I later took time to enjoy, the woods and the lake and the friends, which was amazing. However, I made the time. So it takes discipline. I am obsessed and I understand the consequences of not investing my time and energy into my book to get it done. So for you, how do you find time? You have to look at your schedule and you have to see, where do I have any gaps of time that are during my peak brain function? Now, I know writers who write best at midnight and love to write in the middle of the night when it's quiet. I know people who need to write in a loud place like a coffee shop that's got music and people and coffee machines and all that chaos. They like it. It energizes them. For me, I need silence and I need my morning post coffee brain, my coffee buzz. And that's when my brain is in its genius zone. And so I fiercely protect that time so that I can write then. So for you, you need to know when is your brain cycle at its strongest so that you can focus and concentrate. And that needs to coincide with time that you can be quiet and still and undisturbed. And so figure out when your best brain energy is, and then look at your calendar. How can you carve out an hour or two to be in that zone? Now, if you work full time and you have to be at an office in the morning or at a job, perhaps on your days off, you can use that morning time to do the writing. If you write best at night, if you write best after a jog or a workout or yoga or meditation, go with that flow. But you have to figure that out for yourself. You also need to look on your calendar, on your schedule. If you have a scheduler on your phone or your computer, or I use an old school actual book, like a calendar book, and I write in my writing time and I commit to it. It's very easy to blow it off. But you have to set the parameters, the boundaries, and fiercely defend those times and get the writing done. Even if you don't get your book done as fast as you want, you still are maintaining that momentum. So, how do you find the time? You make the time and you cut it out of your schedule. So, when I wrote my first novel way long ago, I was a newspaper reporter in Detroit, demanding job. I would get up early at like 4 a.m. and write for a few hours before work. I also did that when I had another job during later years, and I wrote a screenplay that way. But during my first job, my first book, I was also planning my wedding, but I would spend Friday evening or Saturdays writing, and my fiance at the time was like, okay, go do your thing. Very supportive of my endeavor of sacrificing going out, hanging out, going to the movies, dinner, whatever, so I could get the book done because he supported my dream, thankfully. Really important to have people around you who support what you're doing because it's going to take time and energy away from them, but they need to celebrate your ambition and your goal because it will benefit them in the long run. If there are people around you who don't support your goals, um, they could be frenemies, they could be family members who just don't want you to do what you're doing. Keep it to yourself, do your thing, and write the book anyway. So, time. So, when I was writing my first book, again, I got up early. I took time on the weekends, but I was also obsessed. I would work during lunchtime on a notebook at the office. I'd be writing. And I took any time that I could because I was obsessed. And I finished the first draft of my book in 3 months. And so that became my first novel. So excited. And it set me on my path as a published best-selling author. Very exciting. So the time, you know your schedule and you may have to cut a few things out. I still do that. There was a big event here in Detroit a few weeks ago, all kinds of festivities. I wanted to participate, but I wanted more to finish my book. So I stayed home in hermit mode, wrote my book all weekend, and I was so productive and so happy come Monday morning when I knew I had given it my all instead of being out. So I have this saying, fleeting pleasure books forever. You can come up with your own mantra, but for me, fleeting pleasure books forever means I can spend a few hours having some really great times, fun, pleasure, but it's fleeting. You have nothing to show for it except a great memory, which is very important. But books forever means if I had spent those 3, 4, 5 hours writing, then I would have pages, chapters to show for it. And that would put me closer to the goal of finishing my book. So let me get to another question here. We're on for 30 minutes every Thursday at noon, live here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, America's book coach, and a best-selling author myself. So another one is I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. I hear this so often from aspiring authors who just feel buried under a mountain of material. I shared my metaphor for the mountain and how I help find that beautiful sculpture, that book within, but where to start. This requires getting quiet and still and really thinking about your why. And that will help you gain some clarity on what is this book for? Who is this book for? Why am I writing it? What is my goal? Is my goal to simply touch one life at a time and possibly save lives by sharing an inspirational story? Is my goal to make a lot of money by getting speaking engagements that you can get paid for and sell books and so have two new streams of income with your book? Is my goal to build my brand and my business and use the book as a marketing tool? Is my goal to simply entertain people with my novel? What is your goal? You have to understand what that is. Do you want to get a movie deal? Um, are you in it for the money? Are you in it for the goal of preserving your legacy to share your story and your family story with your current generation and future generations so that it will be preserved forever in a book? I think everybody should write a book because once you're gone, your stories go with you. So it's very important to record that legacy in a book. We have many authors here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing who never intend to publish their book for the world. The book is a gift for their family. In fact, this book, which is the former Detroit Mayor Dennis Archer and former Supreme Court Justice in Michigan, his goal was to share his story about how he rose from poverty to become this phenomenal mayor that set our city to be the comeback city of the millennium because Detroit is booming. And when he took over, it was an absolute ghost town, terrible crime statistics, and now we are just a buzzing metropolis. It's awesome. But he laid the foundation of that. Let the future begin. And we're in the future and it's phenomenal. But I wrote this 400 and some page book with him, and his goal was to simply share his story with his grandsons. So, of course, many people have read it. Now, his whole experience of rebuilding our city is chronicled on these pages, along with his against the odds success story, because again, he was born in poverty in a rural area of Michigan, and he became this global leader. And so I'm super proud of this experience, but it's an example that started with the mission to help your family, but it will help people everywhere because people who read this are so, so inspired by his story and also understanding how Detroit came to be as amazing it is as it is right now. So know your why you're writing this book. Let me just share also my mother's book, The Triumph of Rosemary, a memoir by Judge Marilyn E. Atkins. This is being made into a screenplay that will be shopped to Hollywood soon to be a feature film. So her motive was she has a very unique story, and people were always saying, you should write a book. And so she did. They read the book. You should make a movie. Now we're in the process of doing that. So that's her why. She personally didn't see how extraordinary her own story was, but other people saw it. So you might be in the same position. If people are telling you you should write a book, you should write a book. That means they want to read it and it should be shared with people everywhere. Another thing is if you feel a calling to write a book, it is your moral obligation, in my opinion, to write that book. It's a life assignment. It is your mission because it's not about you. Yes, you have to do the work to write the book. However, it's about all the people whose lives you're going to touch on the pages of your book with your stories, your inspiration. Now, here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, we specialize in against the odds success stories. That means people who overcame tremendous odds, such as Army Sergeant Cedric King, The Making Point. How to Succeed When You're at Your Breaking Point. You can see on the cover of his book, he's running in a marathon on blades because when he was in the army in Afghanistan, as a leader, he stepped on an IED, a bomb, and it blew off his legs. He survived after 2 years at Walter Reed Hospital in Maryland, tremendous amounts of surgeries and such. But through faith and fortitude, he now is a motivational speaker on stages across America. And the foreword was written by former Starbucks chairman Howard Schultz. And also, he's got quotes from Montel Williams, Gary Sinise, and all kinds of other people here. But Cedric is an amazing against the odds success story. The fact that he survived the bomb blast and that is thriving now, running not only marathons, but he does triathlons. Remarkable. So Cedric's book reminds me of another common question that I get. It's about expressing your authentic self, but fearing that that will turn off readers. So early on, Catherine and I ghost wrote this book for Cedric, and he said it sounds just like him, and readers say the same thing, which is, again, our gift to being literary chameleons. I don't ghostwrite much anymore. I am ghostwriting an amazing book right now for a businessman, but um, this book, Cedric said early on, what got him through was his faith. In other words, God. And he said, how will that affect readers? And then he said, I don't care. This is my story. God is part of my story. And so anybody who's not resonating with that message, this book isn't for them. But for anybody who does, this book is for them. So the same goes for you. If you are writing about a subject matter that might be controversial or that some people just will not agree with, it's your topic and you should write about it anyway, and you will find your tribe of readers. You can't please everybody. Everybody says, yes, I want my book to be for everybody. No, there is a target market for your book. It might be women, it might be people who read romance, it might be people who read Westerns, it might be motivational self-help books. There is a target audience for your book, and you have to write from your heart and soul your most authentic truth. Share that and reach the people you need to reach without watering it down, without trying to placate to people you think might disagree. Too bad. There's books out there for them to read that they'll groove on and be happy with. So here's another example. The next book from here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, coming out June 1st, 2024, in hardcover, paperback, and ebook, is called Joyously Free: Stories and Tips to Live Your Truth as LGBTQ plus People, Parents, and Allies. I actually co-wrote this book with our best-selling author, Joni Lindenmeyer, whose book is None Better: An Amazing Love Story. I coached her. She wrote the book in 5 months. We published it. And if you want to hear a lot more writing tips, tune in to Two Sisters Writing and Publishing's YouTube channel and our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all the other podcast platforms, because we have been going live for 10 months, and we go every Friday. We go live on YouTube on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel to talk about how to write, publish, and promote a book. She's our superstar author. She was my coaching client. She rocked it. She's coming to Detroit for Pride to launch this book. And it's really, really exciting. But again, this book is not for everybody. It's a target market. It's for people who are interested in LGBTQ plus topics, whether it's describing them, if they're parents or allies. And so really, really powerful. But the message is you have to write from your authentic self. Joni and I and our 32 contributors from across the country all share stories relating to these topics that can help people come out and live joyously free, or help others, support others if they're your children or if you're an ally, to help others live joyously free. And so again, this book is not for everybody, but we wrote it with authenticity from our hearts and our souls, with the altruistic mission of helping people who might be scared, who might be confused, who need some guidance. And we provide it in a loving way with this gorgeous book cover, which I absolutely love. We designed it, and this shows our next book, Healing Religious Hurts, which comes out October 1st. And then my book, my memoir, God's Answer is No: Lessons from a Spiritual Life, which is spiritual, not religious. And then here's Joni's best-selling memoir, None Better, as well. So very, very exciting. Again, write from your heart and soul. It's your story. You have the power to share your authenticity, your truth, your realness. Another day, I'm going to talk about what should you include and what you should not include, because that's a huge question that I get all the time. Should you write about the affair that you had while you're married that nobody knows about? Should you write about some of your deepest, darkest secrets that you want to reveal in a book? What are the pros and cons? Let's discuss that next time. Meanwhile, I'm so excited that you're here. Please drop me a comment. I would love to hear any questions that you'd like me to address here on Ask America's Book Coach, Elizabeth Ann Atkins, everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your best-selling book. Catherine and I have been in the business for 8 years with our company, Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. We've published 50 books with at least a dozen more in progress. And I have also been published by New York publishers as well as self-publishing and our company, of course. And so I'm here to help you. I can't wait to hear your questions, and I will see you next Thursday at noon Eastern Time, right here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel. Please, please, please visit Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. Our website is twosisterswriting.com. You can learn about our publishing services. You can learn about my book coaching services. If you're interested in writing your book this summer, my program starts June 19th and it's all virtual, so you can do it from the comfort of your home and learn everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. It's really exciting because I bring a lot of energy to the experience for you. I teach you about how to be a better writer. I teach you about the business of writing. I teach you how to budget for all the things you might not consider that could be expenses along your writing journey. I teach you how to market, activate your networks to sell your book and earn a return on your investment of time, energy, money, all the things that it takes to write your book. And it's really thrilling. So I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, a best-selling author and America's Book Coach. I'm here to help you. So please tune in. Please share this with anybody you know who's trying to write a book because you're going to get super solid writing tips. And starting next week, I will have my live chat open and available for you to ask questions directly to me, America's Book Coach. So in the meantime, please visit twosisterswriting.com and I wish you happy writing.